can't wait to share my love of Twilight Masquerade with everyone. My current obsession.
Yeah, you and the other 10 people in the hobby are very excited about Twilight Masquerade and their prices right now.
I mean, look at them though. Like the Eevee card. How is that not $100 card?
You're right. I
The
did have
the
that.
Chansey sub 60. Like there's only two cards over $100 in the whole set.
I've had a few of the cards from the set. I think that it kind of missed. Well, okay. I also don't remember when the set came out, so I don't know if I was.
Well, it's getting ready to go out of rotation in April.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Twilight
coming up on the 3 year mark.
Masquerade release. When was it released? It was released in May of 2024. So this actually came out
Yeah.
before I started vending
Yeah.
because I think that a lot of some of these sets that aren't as hot, like with like crazy cards that collectors or investor bros are trying to get into, a lot of people master set them. That's what I've like noticed with Perfect Order and what's that other set that just came out?
Journey Together.
Journey Together,
The smaller sets, Phantasmal.
Chaos Rising too. Like there's a couple of big hitters in them, but there's not like it's not causing the hype. And you get to see that with I don't know like
I think people enjoy the smaller sets to begin with because they're a lot easier to complete, kind of like you were saying, but that also helps keep the pack prices down because if you can be done and get a big hitter from a set, you can finish it relatively cheap. I mean, think about Phantasmal. The biggest card is obviously the SIR Charizard and everything, but how many cards are in that set? Not that many.
it's like 200
Yeah, I
maybe.
mean, I think these smaller sets are nice though. Like I don't know. Look at this Chansey from Twilight. You've got a Ditto. You've got Snorlax, Psyduck, Bellsprout,
Oh, there is a Ditto.
Blissey.
I didn't even know there was a Ditto in it.
Like, and this is a sub $60 card. You're telling me that this card, all these OG Pokemon. Well, I guess I called that a Blissey. It looks like one.
That one's in the bag. It's definitely
Yeah.
Blissey. Blissey, Chansey, Psyduck, Snorlax, little Bellsprout hanging out with the Ditto.
You're telling me that can't be a $80 card, a $100 card?
It was funny is when Callie was first getting into things, she was like obviously picking stuff that she enjoyed, and that card was one of them. And it came up to our booth, and she was like, "Will you buy that for me?" And I remember looking, I was like, "Sure,
Yeah.
can't be that much." And I remember looking at it, I was like, "I got like exactly $100 in my pocket, and it's gonna take some of it." It was that and the Eevee that you're talking about, both of those.
Yeah.
That one shocked me the first time I saw the price. I was like, "Oh my gosh, $100 Eevee card," because it's not even a special illustration, right? It's just a regular IR.
Yes. Yep. Illustration there. Yeah.
It's crazy with these prices.
There's only okay. The Carmine is a special illustration rare.
Hmm.
Blood Moon Ursaluna.
That Blood Moon has been filling in like a niche group of collectors, the ones that like the eating Pokemon. And I remember a couple people coming up to me in one show. I only had one of the cards, and they came up to me and they're like, "I'm looking for this card of eating Pokemon, and it's Blood Moon Ursaluna." And I was like, "Sure."
Do you know what my favorite eating Pokemon card is?
Is it the Gulpin eating the giant cake?
No, that one is very good. It's the Larvitar from Obsidian Flames, where he's eating the pile of poop.
Is that supposed to be a pile of poop?
I don't think so, but I say it's a pile of poop, and that's why he turns into Poopitar. that's the second evolution is Poopitar.
It's Poopitar.
Because he's eating a pile of poop from Obsidian Flames.
That's crazy.
I mean, what does that look like?
That does look like a giant pile of poop. Oh,
He's definitely eating something.
I didn't even know that he was eating something in that. I don't think I've. Obsidian Flames was one of my favorites, so I kind of strayed away from.
I went really hard after Obsidian Flames, to be honest. And this was when I don't even think Jeremy was. I mean, my brother has always done Pokemon. He stayed with it a lot more than I did, but I got really heavy back into the 151 set. And I liked this Obsidian Flames when it came out. And I think he thought I was crazy going after it. I mean, seriously, I never pulled anything good. But, I mean, I really loved this Gloom in it. Like, the artwork and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, because we've talked about how some like sets, if there's really nothing good, like if there's really nothing expensive in it to be like trying to chase and pull, like at
Yeah.
least it's got to have good regular illustration rares in it. And I know you're not the biggest fan of Perfect Order, but I think
You,
that it.
you can't be a bad set and have bad hit rates. You just can't.
But then you started pulling good. You pulled the Zygarde, right?
Yeah, that was a one pack, one shot.
You just ripped. That's all you needed. But yeah, I think Obsidian Flames.
Yeah,
It was
Obsidian
like
Flames might be underrated. I don't know. It's weird to look back at all these sets after some time and just look at some of them. I mean, I always liked the Cleffa. I mean, the Ninetales is beautiful. You've got the Pidgey line. The Sizor is sick. Everyone loves Lechonk.
I do like me some Lechonky.
Houndour hanging out in a back alley. You got Larvitar eating poop.
Eating poop. Love that.
You got the big Charizard. Like honestly, I mean, I'm not even that big of a fan of it. I'd rather take the Ninetales.
Over the big lizard.
I mean, you can give me 3 Ninetales for the price of 1 Charizard.
Yeah.
I would do that.
We can do our introduction now that we've talked for like 7 minutes about
Yeah,
randomness.
should we do it?
Go.
Well, yeah, we can get into it. My name is Nick with Nick Snacks. I'm here with good friend Jackson from Polyteam Trading. Jackson, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello. Yes, I'm Jackson with Polyteam Trading.
Yeah, so we are 2 vendors local to the 757 area. I predominantly do the 757 card shows, which are put on by Phil and Russell. Jackson is more open to doing a lot of the other shows that are around the area. He has one tomorrow with Super Rare, who is a very good promoter in the area. I have 2 daughters, so it's a big ask for me of my wife to watch our girls all the time. So I try to limit it to just 2 shows a month. Every now and then I might pick up an extra one, and then some months it might just be one. But for me, you know, I work a full-time job, have 2 kids, and then my brother and we also have a booth in Virginia Beach, and it's Nick Snacks BB. So it's a thing in itself to keep that stocked and running out there with product while trying to maintain doing shows as well. And now trying to work in doing a podcast.
Yeah. I think that you also have some, you got to do a lot of shows and have to come to some of the non 757 ones just to stock inventory because, it's hard enough to try and find something in a Walmart and Target nowadays.
It's definitely tough, but having distribution on some things has really helped, but it's also taken away in other aspects. But it's definitely a juggling act. I mean, it's hard to have enough show inventory, let alone enough to fill a booth on a weekend where I do have a show. But over time that has grown, it's become a little bit easier. Obviously, I'm not putting in some of the bigger cards in the booth, and that has to do a lot with what they're taking out in terms of the commission and rates that I pay there. But just starting wherever you're at in your journey of becoming a vendor and just letting it grow organically, you'll get kind of to where you want to be. And that kind of brings us to our first topic, right? Let's get into some tips for vending. Anything that you've learned since you've started vending. I'm trying to think if anything pops out for me. I think one of the biggest things in general is a lot of people ask me how much product do I need before I can start vending, or maybe they feel a little intimidated and like they don't have as much as other people. Because I admit, even myself, when I go to these shows and I walk around and I see some of the stuff that people have out, it's hard not to compare yourself to what everyone else has. But that's also a dangerous game because it can prevent you from even getting started in something that you might really enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've been doing this a lot less or not as long as you have. And the first show that I ever went to before I started vending, like the first few tables I walked up to, and this was a couple of years ago, they had, gold stars and like all those high end cards that you would see nowadays, and you're like, yes, a house payment, like an entire house
casually.
With this, I mean, I don't know if you even saw the Gold Star Rayquaza sold today it's the highest sold card. It beat out the Charizard, I think, in a PSA 10, the Gold Star sold for over 600 and something $1,000. Like that was just sitting around on tables probably for a couple grand. But I remember seeing that and was like, oh, well, I don't have all these Gold Stars. I don't have all these crazy shinings or base set stuff. I've got little things that I've collected as, as just going along my journey. And I didn't think it was probably good enough. But I only started with like $1,000 worth of products and like $37 in cash in my first show.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's a big deterrent just getting started is feeling like you don't have enough to really compete. But one thing I've noticed is customers, I mean, maybe I shouldn't even call them customers, but the people who come to these shows, they're so naturally drawn to people who are just, I feel like, good people um, that they feel like maybe are doing things the right way. I mean, really, when you think about it and you go to these shows, the people coming and attending these shows can really go to anyone. They can take their stuff anywhere. Most of the vendors are all peddling the same stuff. So, really, it's very important to build those relationships with people, people you can trust, people who are transparent. And that, I think, takes you a lot further than just having a lot of inventory right out the gate. I mean, it's nice to have all these grails that everyone's looking for, but I mean, lately people have really been tearing up my binder. That's
Mm-hmm.
just the cheaper singles, and I think people are just looking for, a cheaper way to collect, even, or they want to support someone, and picking up a $5 card is an easy way to do it.
A grail to someone is one man's trash or one collector's
Yeah.
trash is another person's treasure. Because like I have definitely the the $2 Paldean Whooper at
Right.
one point was like that illustration rare was hopping. Everyone wanted, and I was like, I'll pick them up off of people and all that. But not everyone's coming to a show looking for ponchos and things like that.
Yeah. I think really the key is more than anything is just consistency, showing up regularly, letting people know where you're going to be, just constantly putting out good vibes. I mean, my brother and I think we have a good time, and that's what draws people to us is because we're having a good time out there. It's not that we have the best inventory or the most high dollar stuff or really anything like that. It's just people, when they come to us and you the same, they know that they're going to get treated fairly, um, that we'll do whatever we can to put the product that they want in their hands and help them out as best we can.
Hmm.
And so I wouldn't say, if it's someone out there who's looking to get started, the hardest part is just getting started, just doing it. The inventory will build with consistency, with showing up, with doing these shows, with attending events, making connections and networking. The inventory will grow, but the hard part is just getting started and giving it a chance and seeing if you even like it. Some people might not even like it. They might think they want to be there until they realize, hey, I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. The whole night before, I have to price all my cards out. It's a lot of work to sit there and pack everything up. And then, an hour plus after the show, you're still unpacking and re inventorying everything. There's a lot that goes into it. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily cut out for everyone, but you won't know until you try.
Yep,
Um,
I agree. I think that I personally had to kind of like just get myself in the mindset that there's a possibility that it might have not worked out, but
yeah,
luckily I at my very first show got the blessing of meeting you and got to make my first real connection within the vending space and got to meet more people within the 757 group, within some of the other promoters around there, some vendors that then just became promoters, which then got me access to some of their shows. It was kind of like a full circle thing where you just kind of talk to one person that knows one person that knows one person, and it's just a great way to get more acclimated to the whole climate of everything.
right. I mean, relationships lead to growth. That is for sure a fact. Good network, surround yourself with good people, and good things will follow. I mean, I remember always hearing back in the day. I don't know if you ever heard this. it was always, it's not about the grade you make, but the hand you shake. And I think that's very true in the Pokemon sense. It's about who you get to know, the networks that you make. Maybe something sells better for someone else, and knowing like, man, if I can get this card over to this person, they'll be able to maximize the return on it where it might sit for me. I know
Mm-hmm.
that we had, gosh, it probably was a couple months ago now, where you had the Lugia from Silver Tempest, and however many shows that you had it. And sometimes it's just about, hey, let's trade market for market and just get a different set of eyes on it, because these shows can get very overwhelming for people, especially if they're new to it, walking a show. There's just so much to look at. It's so overstimulating. It can be very hard to decipher uh, who has what. So really thinking that these people will see every card in there is just, it's an impossibility, I think. But sometimes I think it's good, and that's where you can lean on these relationships, is these market for market trades where you can get a new fresh set of eyes on a card, and somebody's been looking for it, and next thing you know, I think I think that card sold the Lugia for me that same day. I mean,
Yeah.
it helps that I think my brother picked it up, but
We
I
won't talk
mean,
about that part.
yeah, we don't. But yeah, another topic I think is very important, especially getting started, is how to curate your case. So I know a lot of people, when they're getting started, they probably use their own personal collection, which is definitely very difficult to reach into. But the end goal is growth and building something long term. You might have to sacrifice a couple cards here and there, but how do you balance curating your case, right? How do you balance putting out the cards that you want people to know you're interested in, so they bring them to you, versus not losing that PC stuff, right? So in my case, I love Dragonite cards, Gengar cards. I love the Squirtle from 151, to the point where I'm trying to collect whole pages of these at a time. I guess it's just how I like to collect, right? I think I have 14 151 Alakazams. I buy them every time they come across my table, but I don't put them out. But it's almost like you have to put that lure in the water to get people to see, oh, this person's into the mega attack rares or something. And I haven't found that good balance, right, to putting this stuff out yet. I don't know if you have any tips or thoughts on that.
I've had a few cards that personally I was like super hard stuck on, whether they're raw or graded, because of whatever ties I had to them, whether they were like the first card that I ever got graded or the first PSA 10 that I ever got graded. And some of those things, it's like, yeah, that's nice. But from a business standpoint, it kind of comes out to, this is a business. And at some point, these cards are getting so valuable that it's worth selling. And if you really want it down the line, there's a possibility there's a dip and you can try and slide back in and still get a profit off of the card that you sold. But when they're like lower end cards or things that you're just trying to collect, whether it's master setting or things like that, I master setted Phantasmal Flames, and I don't know, this everyone's got their different way of doing things. I looked at the binder and I was like, sweet, I did it. And then I pulled out everything that was worth money and I put it into the booth, and I was like, all right, well, I can't be sitting on some of these Charizards and SIRs that are hundreds of dollars, because at least in my mindset, the cards that were in my PC, if I'm not regularly looking at them, it's like, do I really enjoy them or really like them? I have my like, if you don't know, viewers, listeners, I am collecting every single Poly family card, and I look at that binder probably once or twice a week, because I have to remind myself, because there's so many dang cards, what I'm really looking for. But that's kind of like, okay, I'm enjoying these things. I'm enjoying how they look, the cards, the arts, the designs, and all that stuff. Perfect. Um, but some of these random expensive stuff, especially if it has monetary value to it, I can kind of, take the punches and be like, all right, I got to put this out there, because it's grown so much and I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. Because sometimes you can just like a card for a certain
Yeah,
point of time, and then you're like, okay, well, I've enjoyed it, and let someone else enjoy it now.
right. Right. I mean, let's say, for hypothetical, that you didn't go by Polyteam Trading, right? But obviously the Polywag line and everything is part of your PC. I mean, would you? I know you're looking for the Japanese. What was it? The vending Polywags,
Yeah.
right? Would you be open to putting something similar to that in your case, even if it was PC, to just let the casual customer walking by know, hey, this guy's into vintage Japanese. Maybe he's willing to buy this for my collection.
That's an interesting thought because I've never actually, I've never used my vending like table or my booth or anything like that as a lure to for people to bring me things that I'm looking
Right.
for. I've pretty much everyone I try to speak to every single person that walks by me, even if it's annoying and the person like barely darts their eyes at me, I'll try and make conversation and bring them over just to kind of chat about whatever, which usually leads to, if they're interested in selling things, it leads to them opening their binder and then I get to see what they have,
Right.
which then curates some of those longer term relationships with, I know we said customers, but
Sure. Yeah. Friends. We'll
friends.
call them friends at this point. I mean, so many of them are just regular all the time and just good people. I mean, it just I don't. Yeah, I think it's not even customers. It's just friends that you know come say hey all the time.
Exactly. And like you do a deal, enough deals with them and they come and see you, they come and make that relationship with you. They, one, will get to know what you're interested in. And two, probably bring you their good stuff first to see
Yeah.
if you want first dibs on them, if they're trying to get out of stuff, certain cards, and they're like, I'd rather do a deal with you. One, because they like you. And two, usually I'm giving out better deals to people that are regulars for sure.
Right. Yeah. The people that you see on a regular basis definitely. I find myself giving them much better deals, whether it's just the fact that I've worked with them in the past. I feel like it's just natural. You know who they are, that they're going to come back to you and everything. And obviously you want to do right by those who do right by you. So yeah, I definitely get that. And, you know, I always have this conversation with my brother that whatever, if one day this just stops, where we just stop what we're doing, and I have to keep everything that's in that case. Obviously I want stuff that I'm going to like. So I feel
Mhm.
like whenever I'm going through a binder or anything like that, it's not even necessarily about the cards I think are going to be the most liquid or I can flip and make a little bit of money. It's what am I comfortable getting stuck with if this just ended tomorrow? And there's so many different cool types of cards and stuff I've never seen before that I love taking in. So, yeah, just pro tip for anyone coming to the show. Jackson and I will look at whatever it is you have. Even if you don't see a certain type of card at our table, we will definitely take a look. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. And I think that it also, as I've gotten more into the shows, I know that you've been doing this for a long time, and not to make it about money, but it is running kind of a business. And I would say you have a larger inventory, you probably have a larger cash stock than I do. When I was first starting, I remember the first card I ever took in that was big, and I was like, I'm an idiot, was a Lugia V. Very first
Yeah.
show, I pulled money out of my own bank account because I was like, well, I can't afford this. The guy just wants to sell it to me. So, luckily for me, if it sold that day, but I want the opportunity to be like, oh, I've had that card or I've had those kinds of cards before. I've had a gold star in my
Right.
case. I was like, this is sweet, and then someone offered you a deal, and I was like, well, yeah, they're going up in price. I've had shinings in my cases, and now I just picked up an awesome collection of these really old EXs from was it Sandstorm and Fire Red and Leaf Green, those sets and things like that. And I remember seeing them all, and I was like, I probably have seen these cards when I was first collecting as a wee lad, but I haven't had them in my case, at least this many of them, in a long time. So yeah, I like to look through and pick up things that I would like to have if everything ended tomorrow.
Yeah. I feel like I just have to toss this out there. And generally, I want this to be a positive discussion and everything, but I do want to talk a little bit about money. I'm very, I guess you would call it money positive. I feel like it's very beneficial for people to understand finances, and a lot of people get in trouble because finances aren't talked about enough.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people think it's a very private matter, and I understand that. But definitely in this aspect, circling back to the beginning tips for vendors, it's not a race, it's not a
Mm,
sprint, it's a marathon, and you should not be over leveraging yourself trying to keep up with the Joneses. Do what is right for you, trust the process. If you actually care about this and you're passionate about it, that growth will come over time. It doesn't have to be a race. And I know there are a lot of new vendors, especially that love to just inject as much money into it as they can. You don't want to get left holding the bag. I'll say that.
mm,
So if you can keep it steady, consistent, again, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. That to me is the best way to handle it. But even still, getting back to the money and what I wanted to touch on, obviously I'm in a different situation than most, right? I have I guess you could call it a storefront,
mm,
right? And they take out a percentage of my sales when a sale is made, and I'm also responsible for paying booth booth rent, right? So the current location I'm in is about 15% commission plus my booth rent. So you're talking on a monthly average, my total sales, they're taking 20 to 25% of my total sales. So I try to be as competitive as possible when I'm making offers to people. But when you think about it, right, if I pick up $100 item and I pay out 80%, right, and I go stick it in my booth at 100% market, well, right out the gate, they're taking 80%.
mm.
So I'm making no money on that sale. So that's where some cards I have to draw the line on what becomes a booth item versus an item for my shows, or there's a lot on my end, a lot of speculation where I'll take some quote unquote profits that I've made from the booth or a show, and I'll say, all right, what do I think in 2 months from now is going to be up? So I don't know. I think a lot of people think money's just flowing in Pokemon, and yes, it is. It's flowing in the collectibles hobby in general, but I mean, that 20% margin can get eaten up really, really quickly, especially if just vending is not your sole avenue. I mean, you can talk about eBay and all this. So, I think it's getting tougher to source, and I'm doing what I can. And, there are some things in the work behind the scene where I'm, going to be making some changes with my brother that hopefully allows me to make even more competitive offers to people. But, I don't know. For whatever reason, I just wanted to toss that out there. Totally off topic, but yeah, obviously there's money to be made in this hobby. So let's see. There was a couple other things that I wanted to talk about. We talked about relationships and everything like that. Tips for starting. I wanted to get into a little bit of a game called Would You Rather. I know we kind of talked about this a little bit before, but I feel like there's always decisions that can be made about what products you want to pick up, whether it's sealed or singles. So I got a couple I want to get your thoughts on. Okay. So my first one, both of these sets go out of rotation April 2027. Both of them are around 115 to 120 or $30 in ETB. We've got Twilight Masquerade and we've got Temporal Forces. Go.
Well, we discussed it earlier. Temporal and Paradox Rift were two sets that I remember looking at and being like, and this was at a time when Pokemon was slowly really starting to like the Pokemon Center was running out of things. Things were going out of they didn't have product in there. I remember seeing Temporal Forces and Paradox Rift were sitting in the Pokemon Center, and they were definitely sitting in stores. And I remember looking at it going, I get why these sets are sitting in here. I wasn't the biggest fan of a lot of them, a lot of the cards in there, and a lot of them have been kind of like hyped up. I know you're pulling. What do we got up right now? Temporal was
Yeah.
up first, and I mean they've got
You've got the Ghastly. Right?
Ghastly, the Gengar full art, Morty's Conviction with a Gengar in it. It's got
The Chinchino, the Sawsbuck.
and a bunch of Paradox Pokemon, which I
Yeah.
feel like is the thing that's holding me back right now is that the Paradox Pokemon are not loved enough.
They're not loved right now.
Yeah.
They're not loved right now. But I mean, these card artworks are beautiful. The color on the Iron Crowns, the blues and the pinks and the yellows, they're popping off. I
Hmm.
mean, the Deerling and the Sawsbuck and Temporal, the Cinchino. I mean, honestly, maybe it's just weird. I love that Lickitung.
I have that in my case. I priced it today, and I remember looking at it, and I was like, "Ah, you're a little freaky guy, aren't you?"
I don't know if you remember. There used to be a game on Pokemon Stadium where it was like you'd run around as the Lickitung eating sushi. So this card reminds me of that big time. And hopefully there are people out there who played Pokemon Stadium, the original
Yeah,
on
you
Nintendo
old head.
64, and remember that game. But that game was awesome. I actually played it not too long ago. But yeah, for me, Temporal Forces has some really nice artwork, but man, I'm on a Twilight Masquerade kick, and this weekend at the show, I'm going to be going hard on Twilight Masquerade singles. I picked up the Perrin last week
That card is
from
shot up.
from Bad Habit Collectibles. Shout out to them. I picked up the Eevee. I mean, the Eevee is just so great. The Growlithe, I've ordered 3 or 4 copies off of eBay this week alone.
How much is he?
Uh,
$30.
Man, you can get it for 25 to $30 on eBay. I mean, it matches with $180, $190 parent.
Yeah.
You're telling me that card that basically completes this little 2-pack set
Hmm.
can't get up to $60? I mean, right now you can pick it up for $30. You can double your money right there, especially when it goes out of rotation.
Yeah.
The Tatsugiri. So I think for me, the answer is pretty clear that I'm a fan of Twilight. I think it's a little bit underrated right now in terms of, just what are some plays that could be made right now. And I will be buying these Chanseys, the Perrins, the Eevees, the Growlithe, even the Kieran with the little Pikachu in the corner here. I mean, I will be picking these up every time I see these. Oh, there's actually a couple Pikachus in the Kieran.
Yeah, there
Um,
are.
I mean, it's just look. I feel like we're in an elite time for collecting Pokemon. I know a lot of people get down on it and say, it's a tough time to be collectors. But when you think about it, you can find Pokemon cards basically anywhere these days. I mean, Dick's Sporting Goods has cards
Hmm.
now. Ace Hardware, Lowe's, tons and tons of these shows. You can find these singles that you'd probably only have to buy online back in the day. I mean,
Right.
you can get full arts for under the price of a pack. You're talking about pack hits for under the price of a pack. So
Hmm.
I personally think we're in a great time for collecting. Maybe that's just me, but the artwork I don't think has ever been more beautiful.
Yeah, as long as you're not collecting Pikachu, Gengar, and Charizard, you're probably in the clear.
Yeah, it can get expensive, but I guess the answer for me is Twilight. I mean, I love the Ghastly, but for me, Twilight just is my choice there. What about you?
Now looking at the set, at both of the sets side by side, I'm actually liking a lot of what's in Temporal Forces
Yeah.
a lot more than I thought I would. I mean, there's so many very uniquely designed cards in there that
Yeah.
one, I guess I didn't know came out of this set
The
specifically.
never-ending story, Drampa.
I'm loving the Metagross that I hadn't.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, some of these cards, and then yeah, you're right. The Paradox Pokemon not loved at the moment, but the thing is that I think that they're hot take. I think they're ugly. I think that they look ugly, but they're like special illustration rares.
Yeah.
Do them justice. I think Walking Wake is a silly looking dude, but his special illustration rare is gorgeous. I also think that Raging Bolt is a ridiculous looking giraffe.
Sorry to interrupt, but the
No.
Walking Wake definitely gives me like Avatar vibes.
That's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a dinosaur walking around on that planet. And same with a lot of them. I guess that's kind of what they're going for, dinosaur and then futuristic looking dudes.
I wonder if these will shoot up with the futuristic style that they're doing for the 30th. The Pikachu and all that futuristic stuff they've been promoting. I wonder if people get a little bit more drawn to these and just kind of that futuristic style. that's present in temporal.
I mean, I can see it. People get drawn to things for the weirdest stuff
And
sometimes.
people's taste always change.
Yeah.
All the time.
I almost feel like the thing that gets hyped and like bought out and then spiked, it's like, okay, at
Yeah.
shows, no one's gonna buy that. Like, what did I had the Booger Mew. Do you remember when that happened?
Yeah.
I had two of them, and I remember looking at them was like, I can't believe I'm putting a $60 price tag on both of these things.
Right.
And I remember every person came up, they went, oh, can I see the Booger Mew? And I was like, yup, showed them, and they're like, haha, yeah, I'm not buying this for 60. And I'm like, I don't blame
Yeah.
you. It's ridiculous. I think that the price hiking is like so you can get caught somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Well, I think you just reminded me of another good tip is like get comfortable churning, right? And understanding that you're never going to buy it at its cheapest and you're never going to sell it at its highest. Once you get comfortable operating in that range,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you'll be free. You won't be scared to sell something or pick something up. I mean, sorry, that's a last minute little vending tip there. But I'm looking through temporal. I mean, this shift tree only being $12.
That is a sick looking card.
I mean, you can pick this card up. Let's say you have to pay taxes and everything for $15. Let's just say that's a $15 card. You're telling me when that set goes out of rotation next year and you just don't see it as much anymore. I mean, you don't even really see it now. When's the last time you saw Temporal Forces pack? Like
packs or well, and not to go on another tangent, there have been so many illustration rares that come out. I've gotten to the point where like unless they're very specific, like the like high ticket item ones, when people come up to me and they're like, I'm master setting blank and I'm looking for the illustration rares, God forbid it be Black Bolt and White Flare because there's 77 bazillion illustration rares in each of them. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude, or ma'am, or person. I just need a list or a name because
please have a booklet.
Please have a booklet because I don't know which one of these illustration rares go to what now. Because I'm looking at all these and I'm like, there's no way these came out of Temporal Forces. These look so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess they did.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, sometimes it's good just to go back and just really take a look after some time has passed and kind of see what these sets actually have to offer. So we got one for Twilight, one for Temporal.
Yeah, I might go to Temporal now.
Yeah, it goes out of rotation in April. I mean, dude, it's a cheat code. You just buy it right before it goes out. As soon as it goes out, there's a mad rush to pick it up, whether it's sealed, singles.
Do you have a Twilight ETB?
Yes.
You have one? Okay,
yes.
Then I'll have to go.
I'm going to be getting more, hopefully.
At the next show, so tomorrow or Sunday,
Yeah.
I'm going to go and try and find a Temporal Forces ETB.
Yeah.
And I'll pick it up, and then we'll hold it for 20 years when we're old
Yeah.
people. And we'll be like, nice, they've gone up 20%.
Right. So I do have one more here, and this one, I feel like the answer is so obvious, but then the more I think about it, I don't think it is. It's the Prismatic Evolution Super Premium Collection. Currently, there was a drop of it, right? So everybody's rushing to flip it, even though I think this will be $1,000 box one day.
Mhm.
Everybody's rushing to undercut their grandma to sell it. But let's
Holy crap, look
just
at
say it's a $300 box, right? Let's just say it's a $300 super premium collection.
Mhm.
Prismatic Evolutions, 15 packs, a beautiful EV promo in there, right? And I'm putting that one up against the GameStop exclusive. Did you hear the booze when I said GameStop?
I said it. It was me. You didn't hear me?
The GameStop exclusive Team Rocket Moltres box that is currently sitting at 300. Okay, TCG has it market price $388.
Why? What are the packs in it? There's Destined Rivals, obviously.
Okay, there are 2 Destined Rivals packs.
No, there's not.
There's 2 Destined Rivals packs. There are 18 packs, so you get more packs than the Prismatic, but there are only 2 Destined Rivals packs in this.
There better
in this
be
box.
Evolving Skies hiding in there. What?
So the pack breakdown is 2 Destined Rivals, 2 Mega. You get a Twilight pack. You get Surging and Journey Together.
You got to be kidding me.
Now, I might be missing another pack or 2, but those are the packs. You get 18 packs, but you also get the Moltres promo, which is the Moltres from Destined Rivals stamped. So I think that's driving up a good bit of value. But let's just say you've got the Prismatic Super Premium Collection at $300, and let's call this one three.
You gotta call it 380,
I don't.
390.
I guess, but look at all these that are around 300. There's tons of them for sale.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but they're torn seals. Let's just call it 360.
360s
360.
are lowest verified, unopened.
Yeah, let's call it 360 for the Team Rocket Moltres box. Now, you know why it's so high, and it's not because you get 3 more packs. It's because of the scarcity of this item. This was GameStop exclusive. That was the only place to get it. They'll probably never reprint that again. I have no idea what the ceiling is. The ceiling would be way higher if it was even 15 packs of Destined Rivals. But I feel like just based on the scarcity, this puts up a little bit of a fight with the Prismatic SPC.
That makes me so angry. It makes me so mad that this is worth so much money for the stuff that Larvitar is eating inside of it. It is.
Yeah.
It has some. Okay, I don't want to crap on anyone's best sets, but we all can agree Journey Together probably doesn't have the biggest hits,
Yeah.
which I'm sure there's probably like 5 packs of Journey. There's probably 5 packs of Surging Spark, which both of those sets are not the hottest. And then it's like a trickle of this, trickle of that. Does it have the breakdown on the back?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it does.
But it's
I
going to
can't believe 2 Destined Rivals. It's a Team Rocket box.
I know.
Where there are 2 Destined Rivals in there.
Isn't that nuts? I mean, I think the bigger question here is if you have a premium collection, would you prefer it be all one pack, or would you like a little bit of a spread? Now, they clearly butchered the spread in the Rocket Moltres box. But let's say, just for the sake of argument, 18 packs, 10 of them are Destined Rivals, because I would hope that a Team Rocket themed deck would have 10 packs.
10 packs of its set,
Right?
yeah.
And then you have, so they did put in Mega Evolutions. Let's say they still have 2 packs of that. And then 1 pack of the rest, right?
Yeah.
You have a little arbitrage there. Like, would you rather have that where it's the different packs, or would you rather have something like the Prismatic where you are only getting Prismatic packs?
But you also okay. But here's the thing about that is that Prismatic, out of all the sets we have just mentioned, out of either boxes we can get, is the only set you can get a God pack out of, right?
Yeah.
And
mentioned, yeah.
Prismatic God pack is worth a couple $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Like $2,500 maybe.
Yeah.
And the ceiling card in Prismatic, the one card you can pull, the Sunbreon, is like it's broken over $1,000 again, right?
Yeah.
So I think that in the long run, I probably have to go Prismatic, even though I dislike the set, because you have 15 opportunities to pull a card that is already more expensive. It doubles the Mewtwo.
Yeah. I mean, it's
What's
crazy.
the Mewtwo in Destined worth?
I want to say it was around 800 last time I checked, but let's pull it up.
Oh, is it really? Oh, I thought it was like a $500, or maybe that's the other Mewtwo.
Let's see. I will pull it up for you. But you're absolutely right. I mean, the obvious answer is the Prismatic box, just because there's very few products in Pokemon that you can. Oh, I was way off. About 550 on the Mewtwo.
Right. So like the Sunbreon is double
Yeah.
the price of that guy.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh my! It's $1,500.
Yeah, it's like
It's
3x.
triple.
Yeah. So I guess what we're saying is these Prismatic Evolutions premium collections are underpriced.
And I guess what we're also saying is, once again, GameStop is taking you out back and beating you with a stick on their valuation on something.
Well, this is TCG, but because these are all sold out, obviously, and that's adding to the scarcity. But yeah, I mean, it's even if people have so many of these tucked away, I mean, the prices on, let's just say you don't even hit a God pack, but you hit that Umbreon. I mean, that's just nuts. That's just nuts. And that to me tells me that, Prismatic loose pack prices are probably undervalued, but
That's a used Honda Civic right there.
yeah, I mean, $300, the Prismatic Super Premium Collection is still a buy. I'm going to be honest, I've been going to Dick's Sporting Goods and buying them for like the past week because they've had them there.
Have they really? How much are they right there?
$280.
Okay, so
But basically, every time I buy them, I get like a $60 coupon. So
your brother was telling me about that cheat code.
I've been picking these up, and if anybody is trying to get into more of the investment side of things, which is the side I enjoy the sealed stuff. I, my first thing is you got to go for the super premium collection. I mean, 15 packs of a set that is just going to be a staple for Pokemon for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just so hard to beat. But yeah, the Rockets Moltres box. I think unless you want to have that one as a shelfer, I'm leaving that
It's a
one
cool
alone.
looking box.
Oh, very cool. But
I can't believe it's $380 right now, $360.
I know. I had.
Don't you have one?
I have so many of them because I would go every day and get them, and people told me I was crazy. I think at the time I was picking them up for 140 to 160 bucks a box, and people were like, "You're nuts! Like, why are you paying that much?" And I've just been in this a long time. I understand that scarcity drives the market, and even though the pack selection is pretty poor, I mean, I knew it was going to do well over time. I mean, maybe I'm crazy and it'll drop, but to already be pushing,
$400.
I don't even think it's been out for a year.
No, because it would have came out after Destin came out.
Right, which was May, I think, last year.
Oh, that says listed.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so they created the listing for it at the end of May, which sounds about right. But I mean, let's be honest. GameStop will probably never print this again. I don't, maybe Pokemon has an issue with them to begin with and what they're doing with their prices, but I don't think that we will ever see that product again. And I think it's just going to keep climbing. But man, I'd be buying up
those
super premiums all day.
That's crazy.
If I have a good show, I might try to pick up a couple more because now it's a terrible time to sell these.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken such a hit because there was a reprint. So if anybody is dumping the Prismatic SPC, I will buy every one of them and just forget that I have them. Just throw them in a closet and forget, and I'll come back a year from now when they're $500-$600 a box because I think Prismatic goes out of rotation next April too.
Yeah.
So
might as well.
I don't know. Will you have anything, Jackson?
No, I think I follow along with it. I'm a big I dislike Prismatic as a set because I think that I never pulled anything out of everything that I opened, and that made me mad. Kind of like you with Perfect Order, same exact thing, no differences. And I just disliked the hype around the set because I felt like everyone was comparing it so much to Evolving Skies,
right,
with it being an Eevee set, and I was like, I just can't deal with another Eevee set, and it was the start of everything, like the downfall of product on shelves.
Yeah,
it was like I remember going into a Barnes and Noble and accidentally stumbling on a restock, and they were like, you can have 2 ETPs, and I was like, for $49.99. Absolutely, I'll take them. And I ripped them in the car.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Nothing. Brutal.
Yeah, horrible.
Brutal. Yeah, I felt like I had a little bit of a problem. I was buying a lot, and this was before I got even heavier into vending and stuff. And I remember a game store asked me if I wanted to pre-order Prismatic. And I just looked at them and I said, I have to stop buying. And so I didn't. And here I am kind of kicking myself. I didn't. But everything's taken such a turn and gotten so hot and so ridiculous, and I don't know if that makes it easier for me to keep buying stuff. But yeah, I wish I would have picked up those ETBs. But I think this was a pretty good first little chat. What do you think?
No, I think that we did a great job.
Obviously, this being the first one, it's going to have its hiccups and everything like that. But
if you could only see this microphone setup we've got going on right now.
Yeah. We're basically sitting in each other's laps, which is fine.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this.
We're cool with that.
Yeah,
but,
it's good.
I think the first episode, right, we tried to have a little bit of a rough outline. We tried to hit a couple different topics just to kind of see what the people might want, whether it's tips for vending or any sort of insight in that aspect, talking a little bit about different products and our thoughts on different products. So I think we did a good job hitting some stuff like that. We didn't really hit any of the hot topics currently going on. That's ever changing. There will always be something to talk about there, which we can get into when we have things a little bit more settled and in a routine. I'm hoping to trying to keep this going. Obviously, we're both adults with responsibilities and full-time jobs and vending, so it'll be tough. in an ideal world, we would find a way to do it weekly. How feasible is that? Who knows? But a lot of it also depends on if people even like this. I mean, I hope they do because it's a great way to talk and connect with people and share some thoughts on stuff without pulling the Jar Chomp Oyama and charging them $2,500 just to sit and listen to us talk. But um, I'm open to trying to keep plugging away at this, and if it's something people like, taking questions, maybe even having guests on from time to time, when we can get this more settled and in a routine. I'm down. I had a good time
Yeah.
sharing some thoughts,
Well, we normally just do this over text, and
I know.
if you guys could see the text chains that I have with Nick about, it would be like this long discussion, and then at the very end, every single time, dude, we should start a podcast and talk about this because like we could really just kind of hammer these things out and see what other people's opinions are. And I'm like, you're right, we could, except you've got two kids
Yeah.
and you live in a different state, and which it's not really that big
Yeah.
of an issue, but yeah, now we're here and we're doing our first one.
Yeah.
We didn't even
Some-
mention the name of the podcast, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's
We
that's
just
a rookie mistake.
No.
Well, before we even get into that though, I mean, it's just sometimes I feel like you just have to talk things out for yourself too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about Twilight and Temporal, and it kind of just refreshes your mind. Like, man, I actually like a lot of cards from that.
I'm going to
And-
TCG Player tonight.
Exactly. And sometimes it's just good to have those discussions. And I'm excited to potentially have a discussion next week after you having two shows this weekend, me having one, and just circling back with whatever stories we have from that. But, I think circling back to what we should have said at the beginning, my thought, and, I think Jackson liked it as well, is calling this podcast Experience Share Trade Talk, right? Experience share, obviously, from the Pokemon games,
Mhm.
right? That's when you could give a Pokemon at the end of your bench a little helmet, a little
That's right.
special helmet, and all of a sudden he's just gaining experience.
He's jacked by the end.
You typically give it to your Magikarp to help.
Yeah, to get him-
you'd have a Gyarados way before then, but oh man, for me it was always the Dratini and Dragonair.
Oh,
Trying to get
yeah?
him up to a Dragonite because you could get them later in the game, but. Yeah, I figured that was just very fitting, sharing our experience, hopefully sharing tips to help you, grow, level up. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you can find me at NicksnacksVB. That's NICKS KNACKSVB across all social media platforms. And then Jackson.
Yeah, you can find me at Polyteam, Polyteam_trading on Instagram is where I mainly reside.
Yeah. So if you want to reach out, maybe we'll set up an email address or something. Or I feel like most people listening to this probably know where to find us anyways.
Yes,
So-
your wife and my wife will know exactly where to find both of us.
Yeah. They'll say, "What took you guys so long?" But yeah, I think that's a good first episode. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah. Thank you, Jackson, for the setup and everything. And thank you for anyone who's willing to listen.
Agreed. Bye, y'all.
Bye.